Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Pekin Freeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello race fans, and welcome to round 2 of the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. We are here at the glorious Road America on the banks of Elkhart Lake in Wisconsin, one of the true old school road racing circuits. It's going to be an absolute thriller tonight. 3 races of frantic tin top action coming your way here on Apex Racing TV, and bringing you all the action is myself, Peter Mackay, and joining me in the commentary box tonight is Sam Fitzpatrick. Bringing you all these beautiful images and snazzy graphics is Mark Tranter in the production booth. Sam, it was the day of Carl Janssen a week ago at Silverstone, starting off a new look ARLTC season. What's your thoughts heading into this one today?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing these cars at Road America. The last time we visited here, it didn't go too well, but this has got plenty of long straights. We're going to see potentially a run to the line as well for maybe a race victory. It should be a real fun one, quite different to Silverstone International that we visited last time out. I'm sure the drivers will be reveling this classic Wisconsin circuit.
They will indeed, and of course this very car has a little bit of pedigree here at the Road America circuit. Back in 2018, this car won its class in the Michelin Pilot Challenge, the Compass Racing team, which later switched to McLaren's in the GTD category in the full IMSA Championship. So a little bit of heritage for this Audi touring car here. But Road America, I mean, it's an amazing circuit. It's actually never changed since its original layout was set in 1955. So it's got incredible heritage. All the big names have won here: Hill, Penske, Shelby, McLaren, Andretti and Fittipaldi and more. So who's going to win tonight? Well, the one thing that we know we won't see, Sam, is someone who will go and win all 3 races, because of course we have our typical ARLTC reverse grid. So it's only in race 1 where the qualifying order goes off in that order. After that it gets jumbled up a bit. Yeah,
now setting the reverse grids for later on, we have we decided the reverse grid based on how many drivers we had at the previous meeting. So the reverse grid could have been anything from 23 drivers to 35 drivers, I believe. And both times last week it was 26, and you won't believe it. First race this time it's 26 again. I mean, what are the chances of that? 3 26s in a row. I will have to check how random the number generator was. However, second race 29 spots. So you want to be within those places. You don't want to be just outside it. You want to be just within those places, and you could be in for a good chance. But of course, Janssen last time, it was remarkable, wasn't it? He just did insanely well. He did get a 5-point penalty post-race for a little bit of an instant, but it still means that he's in the lead of the championship. And we just made it easy to go from the mid-20s to the top positions last time out. Will be interesting to see if we can back it up today. I imagine it'll be a little bit more tricky, seeing that the drivers are a bit more familiar with this place. It might be a bit closer, but I don't underestimate these top drivers.
Definitely not. No, the championship is so deep in talent, as we see one of our former champions, Wojciech Swiridowicz, leading at the moment from defending champion Kieran Harrison, running the number 1 board. Of course, we had a quick chat to him after the race at Silverstone 7 days ago, and he said to us he was quite enjoying running the number 1 plate, and who wouldn't? I mean, some drivers prefer to just keep their own number, regardless if they're the defending champion or not, but I always think it's nice to see the number 1 plate on it.
Yes, it makes it a bit easier for you fans. Thanks for tuning in for this broadcast tonight. Yeah, it makes it a bit easier for some of the guys up there to know who's the fast drivers. We got, of course, car number 1 for Harrison, and we've got car number 3 for Dave Baker. I think McFarlane finished second place last season, but he's not back for this season. So there was no number 2 available. Also, Swiridowicz, who's currently on pole position, recently went to pole position. He finished 8th last season, but he doesn't get the pleasure of that number. He gets the 180 instead. But of course, 6-time champion, he'll be trying to get that number 1 back on his car. As we move into the final 3.5 minutes of this session, and still drivers trying to improve. But I think to get into those top places, Peter, I imagine you probably need a draft. And at the moment, Daniel Nagy doesn't quite have that, so he'll do very well to get close to the top. In fact, it might just be on an outlap at the moment, trying to, no, it's not an outlap, but maybe just a cool down lap before really launching it for a last attempt.
Absolutely, yeah, looks like that's what he's going to have a go at here for the number 199, running the same number as Travis Pastrana ran in his competitive motocrossing days, and still does in his other motor racing exploits as well. But yes, of course, Daniel Nagy's got a lot of real-world experience at the very highest level of touring car racing in the WTCR series as well, so knows the kind of quirks of these cars and the way to get the best out of them as well. As we see, lots of quick times being putting in there. But I can see Bobby Thompson has been given, well, his time in the amateur category was brief. He's up to the pro category in 8th position overall right now. And given the fact that he's a real-world British touring car driver, I can understand the decision for that to be so. Yeah,
I actually looked back at mine and Bobby's previous messages. He did actually ask to be put pro before the season starts. And I was like, no, Bobby, you're iRacing. We've got to judge it on your iRacing. Shows how ignorant I was. Because he did very well. He was battling with Swiridowicz last time. So, yep, he is in the pro category. Guinness, meanwhile, moves up to pole position. 2/10 clear. That's a huge gap. Must have just got the perfect draft. You can see he's just behind a driver ahead. But maybe he was getting a teammate, maybe getting a slipstream from his teammate just behind, then managed to get ahead, perhaps. So, nice lap there from Guinness, who had a really bad Silverstone. Didn't finish one of the races, and really didn't do a whole lot in the others either. So that will hopefully be his drop round. They do get 2 drop rounds from the first 13 meetings of the season. So Guinness is trying to recover some points this evening, and yeah, putting it on pole position would be the perfect start.
Well, certainly doing a great job of towing his teammate Kieran Harrison around right now. We saw, unfortunately, we just missed it just before we came on air for you folks. While we were watching the feed before we went live, there was all kinds of funny business going on in this part of the circuit. The two HM Engineering Audis are coming into now. This is called the Moraine Sweep. Sorry, my apologies, Kettle Bottoms. Moraine Sweep's the other end of the circuit. Kettle Bottoms, down into Canada Corner. And there was a lot of drivers mimicking a Moto3 qualifying session, almost parked, waiting for someone to get a tow from, and nobody was wanting to blink first. So it's quite a funny dynamic here with the group qualifying session. Of course, Guinez already on pole, so he's actually interestingly, they've just swapped positions, Sam. It was Guinez towing Harrison, and they've now moved aside one another.
Yeah, Guinez ran a bit wide. Harrison ahead. What lap time does Harrison do? Oh, as Flatten moves up to second place, Harrison goes pole, and by 0.3, Savidovic improving as well, and Simmons improving. So Guinez has gone from first to fifth. Very quickly, it was 0.2 clear, he's now 4.5 tenths short as the session ticks to 50 minutes, and that will end the session immediately. What an end to the session. Janssen also putting in a great time, so they really left it late on there, maybe with the low fuel, maybe the tyres were getting into range, but yeah, I really thought Guinez had that one in the bag, and he's nowhere near in the end.
Yeah, interesting that Janssen, Swirovic and George Simmons all just sort of lurking there in the background, very stealthy, and I think they just picked up a little bit of a toe from the HM Engineering guys, and that made a big difference. So let's see how they line up then for this first race of our meeting here at Road America. Kieran Harrison, the defending champion, starts on pole position with championship leader Carl Janssen in second. Row 2 is Wojciech Swirovic with George Simmons in fourth. Row 3 is Corentin Guinez and Terje Flatten. Row 4, Norbert Leitner and Daniel Nagy, and all Hungarian fourth row, very nice. Row 5, Ole Marcus Jorgen and Mark Johnson. And row 6, Fraser Smith and Marcel Tai. On row 7 is Jason Cooper and Damian Harris, followed by Bobby Thompson and Mikael Garcia. Row 9 sees Adam Hadfield and Hugh Betterman, followed by Vasily Zaitsev, Owenson Hereford, Mark Woodhouse, Gaten Anger, David Baker, Igor Shirokov on the end of row 12, followed by Craig Williams, Marius Karlstad, Nathan Davies, Ben Gregory, Jens Ledwig, Marcel Fritsch, Toby Ward, Oliver Ackerman, Adam Bath, Jake Robertson, Tim Perry, Sergei Glazkov, and finally, I think, Andrew Woodhouse, Stu Abbott, Luke Kidsley, Arjen Bakker, Robert Rund, Baron Glover, John Billingsley, Rob Stanford, Martin Shirley, Bruno Belney, Eric Boulton, and Andrew Brema. Oh, we've got two more, Paul Coburn and Jack Sedgwick. A nice round 50, and I need to take a big deep breath before we get going in this opening contest of the evening here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. Kieran Harrison poised on pole position. The lights are prepared. We will see them illuminate. One of them, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out they go. We are green here near Elkhart Lake at Road America for 20 minutes of touring car racing. Brilliant start by Kieran Harrison in the number 1 HM Engineering Audi, that red and black car, but Carl Janssen looking up the inside there. Can he make an early move? No, decides to tuck in behind Harrison, and Swirovic is in third, Simmons in fourth, so good start from the Apex Racing Team guys as well.
Yeah, managing to keep those places, but now Simmons is having to defend from Guinez and Leitner, who feel perhaps a little bit frustrated that they ended up a bit further down the order and not quite the draft that Simmons would want from his teammate down this next straight. But nice driving from the guys there. Damien Harris up a couple of places. He's up into 12th. He's one of the highest placed drivers in the championship, so that was important for him, as Janssen already launching an attack on Harrison. Top 3 breaking away a bit, but here comes Guinez on Simmons. Simmons should have the better line on Guinez. He just has to back out of it, and he'll stay ahead of his teammate Leitner just behind. Johnston, top of the amateur drivers, currently doing a superb job up in 8th place. He's gone up a couple of places from Hesketh Racing, as there's a little bit of side-by-side further back. Also Jason Cooper, bit of a poor start. He's down 4.
Yeah, but you can see, whoa, and Fraser Smith getting a little bit frisky there with is that Mikael Garcia or Bobby? I think it might have been Bobby Thompson actually getting a little bit frisky with there, but through they go down towards the carousel. A wonderful corner in, say, an IndyCar or a LMP2 where you've got lots of downforce, but one of these things, it's a little bit more of a tightrope walk as they head down towards the kink for the first time. A very, very fast right-hander where Catherine Legg had a horrific accident in 2006 in Champ Car, but miraculously walked away unhurt. But back at the front, Carl Janssen for Corsim Racing. You know, well, you could think that Corsim Racing maybe should have had that championship last year in the Drivers' Championship, that is, but cruel loss right at the end with technical issues. But Carl Janssen really carrying the flag for the Corsim Racing outfit in that 192 car. But he's met his match there with Kieran Harrison. They appear to be the early standout, but Swiradewicz right there in the toe.
Yeah, I just wonder what Janssen's tactics are going to be at the moment. Maybe push Harrison along the road, try to build up a gap over the rest. That seems to be what he's doing at the moment, rather than going for the move, and that's certainly smart showing from a very experienced driver, of course, Janssen, who already has established his competitiveness in this series. But still the car number 1 leading the way onto lap 2. Lightner's still staying ahead of Flat, and really no other changes in the top 10 on the most part. And also Jens Ledwick has had a nice, so he's up 5 places. He's up into 24th place, and at the moment 3rd for the reverse grid. Ben Gregory currently with pole position for the reverse grid. But the drivers start the chase once again down into turn 5, and there could be a move for Zaitsev here on Garcia. Just looking up the inside of Mikael Garcia, this one looks very possible for him to pull up as a couple of teammates further ahead, just going alongside, taking a very wide turn in there is the 112 car. Now might just have the better exit, but that's the 5-star motorsports drivers just ahead, really costing each other a bit of time as Zaitsev does make that mistake on Garcia.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, good move there. Of course, one of the great overtaking opportunities here at Road America is turn 5, heading down the hill, downhill braking zone, and it's a tight left-hander. Great way to pull off a block pass on your competitor. So, of course, you come from a very, very long run along the Moraine sweep. So it's a good place to set up a move. But really interesting tactics here from Carl Janssen in second place, Sam. As you quite rightly noted, he's doing a bit of NASCAR bump drafting, trying to kind of literally push Harrison along to try, rather than go past them and slow them both up. Better to just sort of keep in line astern, almost like a train. Whoa! As you see the 222 machine there. Now, was that, who on earth was that, getting all kinds of squirrely there? That was not where you want to get onto the grass, but did well. Oh, we've got a crasher at Canada Corner, turn 12. Oh,
he's already had an off earlier on in the lap and went from about 13th down to 20th, and that's just made it a whole lot worse for him. Don't have a fast pair in this season. You need to finish either 0 or 1 laps down to score points. And I think that's what Thompson will be aiming for from here. So he was already on the bits, kind of almost backing out of this one, and then he's got the team mad car. I think that's Woodhouse perhaps just going up his inside and hard into the wall there for Bobby Thompson. Real shame for him. Just trying to find out who it was. Not quite sure.
I think it was Mark Woodhouse, I think it was. In the team mad machine. Yes, I think so. And to be honest, that just seemed like just very, very poor luck. I don't think there was anything malicious or even reckless on Woodhouse's front. Certainly from what I saw. Just actually, it seemed like quite an unusual sort of reaction from Bobby Thompson's car. It seemed a very violent accident for such a light touch. But I suppose when you're on the brakes from heavy distance, so look at this. Who better? That is fantastic. You see Garcia all the way on the grass trying to go past Betterman, and then he gets a shoulder barge for his trouble at the apex there.
He drove about 200 metres on the grass. It was remarkable. That's fantastic traction. That's a good advertisement for Rowdy, looking like a four-wheel drive car right there. Hasn't worked for him though, because he's still behind all these drivers, and it means that Dave Baker, who qualified way down to Dave Baker, qualified in 23rd place. This is the 3rd place finisher from last season. Notorious this day for finishing in 6th place in races. Had a pretty good start to the season at Silverstone, but well out of position at the moment. He needs to try to recover as many places as he can, and around these places, it's kind of 1 point for every place that you can gain. And then once you get into the top 10, it starts getting a bit steeper, 75 points for the race winner. And I think that's about 7 points more than you get for second place. So it is quite lucrative, those top places. Seemingly, the lead battle is between 3 cars, Harrison, Janssen, and Savidovic. It doesn't look like Simmons. Well, Simmons is kind of there, isn't he? Like maybe 4/10 of a second behind those top three. And then Guinness just struggling to hold on to the back of them in 5th place. So it's yeah, it's certainly going to be tight between the top 2 at least. And maybe others could get involved as we see this big pack at the moment just outside the top 20. And this is a couple of the lead amateur drivers. We've got Johnston way up the road in the amateur category, but Woodhouse and Gregory having a tight battle for second place in that class.
Yeah, of course, Mark Johnston is so impressive in the amateur category for Hesketh Racing. In fact, all of the Hesketh Racing guys usually fighting for that amateur title crown. Very impressive indeed from those guys. But I guess it's all just about keeping your nose clean, isn't it? Just trying to keep bagging points all the time. You can't afford to keep putting it in the barrier, and yeah, that's often the trick. But yeah, Johnson to be right up there. You look at he's ahead of some really big names as well. A lot of pro category guys there as well behind him, and you look who's ahead of him. Well, it's absolute all-stars ahead of him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, real high quality drivers surrounding him. Dave Baker's just got past Mikael Garcia, by the way. As Harrison's still in the lead of the race, 0.2 of a second ahead. It's actually close up a bit. I wonder if there was a move from Janssen, like an attempted move from Janssen, because all of a sudden this top 8 are within 3 seconds, the top 6 within 1.8 seconds. So that must have been a mistake there from one of these guys, or an attack from Janssen, and it's all of a sudden opened up this race quite a bit, a few more drivers in play.
Indeed, yeah. I'd be very surprised if Kieran Harrison was backing Carl Janssen into the pack, because that's a really far bigger risk than potential reward. So I don't think that's the case. Maybe it could be that the pace is just not quite as hot as the guys following. And yeah, you can see this pack here. Who's going to make the move forward? They all seem relatively content right now, Sam, because of course we're only about halfway. It's like a champagne cork that you know that it's going to pop eventually, but when? It's like a champagne bottle that's been left alone in the sunlight, and you know that these guys aren't going to run like this forever. But right now they're all just kind of writing their notes down, just getting getting an idea of what all of the guys around them are doing, so they know where they might potentially be able to make a move. As Norbert Leitner in sixth, at the just in the middle of this pack, sets the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, going to half a second on the guys. Zaitsev then just puts in the fastest lap as well. That's a bit out of nowhere down 16th place, albeit only 9 seconds off the lead. It seems like Savidovic maybe just holding up these drives, but it might even be better that he lets Simmons go, because just can't quite get into that draft range of Janssen. He's slightly in the draft range, but it's not really making much of an effect at the moment. He is at threat of losing touch to those leading 2. There is Adam Bath out there in 27th place. You can see him back out there fighting with Jake Robertson. And Jake Robertson, I did say this last time out, a World Championship driver in the iRacing Rallycross series, but he's struggled a little bit in these first 2 rounds, and he's battling with the let's face it, bad drivers of Adam Bath. I mean, you don't really want to be fighting with that caliber of drivers, but it's quite an interesting pack. There's Cedric, Bath, Robertson and Ackerman. Ackerman, very good driver for Team 3 Motorsports. Yeah, very good to see these guys battling.
And I'm presuming this is Jack Sedgwick of Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup fame. The very same.
I wasn't sure if Jack was in that series, but I know he's very good. About 7,000 irate.
He is in that series that year. I think he came through pre-qualifying, a little bit like our very own Rahal Letterman Lanigan driver Zach Campbell as well. So yes, I'm pretty certain of that Jack Sedgwick is in that championship as well. So, and he's running. Whoa, I think. Big one. Jens Ledwig hits the wall there. That's going to give him big steering wheel damage. He gathers it up nearly, flashes the lights. He's not happy about that. Goodness me. But yes, just coming back to that, I think. Well, you've got 2 World Championship drivers here in this pack, led by Jack Sedgwick in 25th. I think that gives you all you need to know about how particular a technique this touring car needs.
Yeah, I think, I mean, Sedgwick obviously should have won the championship 2 seasons ago, got hit out. I think that was the Winter Series. No, sorry, no, that was something else, I think. But he should have won it in season 1 because he scored way more points and then just didn't work his way in the showdown. I think he may have got hit off as well in the season finale in the Winter Series as well. So he'd been really unlucky, Cedric. Started down in 50th place. Don't know why he didn't do qualifying. No one had any pit lane starts to serve, so no threat of that. So he's up into 25th, and that's really the minimum that he would have wanted. Top 26 obviously get reverse grid. So Cedric is guaranteed to be within that reverse grid, so that's kind of what he wanted. He'll do well to catch up to Shirikov, who's driving for Wild Animals Wizards team, who are an exceptionally quick team of Wild Animals, so I doubt Cedric will get any higher up, but he could well be on the front row then for race 2.
Indeed, yes. He's looks like he might be trying to pull off a Kevin Ellis Jr. at Interlagos, get the reverse grid for the feature and start in the front row and drive to the win. Maybe that's what he's planning a race to victory. Well, let's see. But so far, I mean, what can you say about Kieran Harrison in that HM Engineering #1 Audi? Sam, he's just absolutely ice cold. He is just extraordinary. He's got Carl Janssen absolutely all over the back of his boot lid, and he's just not flinching whatsoever. He's such a cool driver.
Yeah, he's not going to blink here. Janssen's got to get the move done himself, and he's going to win this race again. Janssen, if that was the last lap, he would be going for that one into Canada corner, but just deciding to stay behind. Savinovic catches up to them slightly, so Savinovic was about 8/10 behind. He's got to 6/10 of a second behind Janssen now. So, and of course, the closer you get, the bigger the draft effect becomes, and then that allows you to get closer, and then it's quite a simple effect there. So Savinovic bringing himself back into play, and Janssen a lot quicker through the final corner. He's going to get barely any drafting because he's going to catch him about a third way down the straight, and then gives his rival a little bit of a bump draft just to get them to pull away. Harrison a bit anxious that Janssen might attack, and so goes to the inside, but Savinovic well with these guys. Now this is the first time that we've properly had these top 3 nose to tail. Simmons another 4/10 of a second back, still waiting for those HM Engineering guys of Guinness and Leitner to make much of an impression, because well, we've got 5 more minutes to go. They need to start getting a bit further up the order.
Yeah, it's interesting. I tell you what, Wojciech Swiradewicz looks really racy right now. He's obviously got enough revs left in the box when he gets into turn 1 that he's able to still hang on to the bump drafting Harrison and Janssen, as we see Daniel Nagy has a big lunge up the inside. Oh. But you will not get a more aggressive and clean move in equal measure at that point. Obviously, it's a tough line to walk between aggressive and clean, but that was right in the medium. Sorry, that's that was a big one from Daniel Nagy.
Yeah, he was really fortunate that Platson backed out of it. Otherwise, there would have been a bit of a tap on the rear corner, and could have been disaster for the pair of them. Tim Perry looks a little bit taking slightly alternative line, but I think he's all right. Is Perry? They're driving for 3 Spires boosted out there on the going to be leading amateur teams on there. He's got quite a bit of damage on that car in 41st place, but at least he'll score points. In fact, everyone bar Stu Abbott, Arjun Bakker, Nathan Davies and Eric Bolton still running in this race, only 4 retirements, which is pretty good considering how very brittle these cars are with this new damage model, or not so new damage model now it has become. Gaten Anger still passing out there for Optimal Sim Racing. These guys are just outside the reverse grid places, but if something happens up ahead, then they could be in the box seat. So this place could be quite important. Anger just holding off Barth, who is falling back a bit. Barth, he was in 26th a moment ago, but he's back down to 30th now.
Laskov had a huge look there at Canada Corner, and Adam just about shut the door in his face in just enough time to keep the position, but that's lost their momentum. And of course, momentum is the word we use a lot here in the ARLTC series. Keeping the speed up in these cars is vital, because although it's ridiculous to say a car with 350 horsepower is underpowered, but relatively so it is. It's a car you really need to keep it singing. You need to keep it on the boil. As we see Jason Cooper for 5-star Motorsport, which Bobby Thompson driving for as well. Now, is this a new brand for Cooper Esports, Swift Cooper Esports? Because it's Jason Cooper drove for them, and as did Bobby Thompson last season.
You could well be right. I'm not quite sure. I was talking to Marco Barbinet before the season started, and in Italy, 5-star means something completely different to what I'm sure Jason Cooper and co would be publicising. But that's the only thing I can think of 5-star. Although actually 5-star is usually a good compliment, isn't it? So maybe that is boasting that they are a 5-star level team. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm talking about at this point. But I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, if it is part of Swift Cooper, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Unfortunately, we've got no Kip Stevens, who also drove for Swift Cooper last season, but he's not out there on track. The former champion, season 1 champion, of course, of the BSRTC many years ago.
Yeah, back with the old Kia, the Kia Optima touring car. Actually, a really nice car to drive. I have to say, I quite enjoy it. To drive the old Kia as well. So Daniel Nagy, really impressive debut over the last week or so in the ARLTC Championship for the Hungarian, and it just shows you, Sam, particularly from a racecraft point of view, that real world experience is absolutely priceless, really. For Daniel, you can make up so much of, even if you're relatively inexperienced in the sim, if you've got lots of real-world racing experience. That craft, which of course is so vital in touring cars, it really pays off.
Yes, we're going to have a change for the lead because we're moving on to the final lap of the race, and so they've got to go for it now. Going the long way round into turn 1 was Janssen, but now he's going to try to get the cut back into turn 2. This will go down to Canada Corner, I'm sure, but Janssen wants to get the lead straight away, so Harrison, long way round, should get a slightly better exit there. Zavidovic trying to get involved, but this is a very narrow circuit here at Road America, and so he'll struggle to make it through. But there is quite a gap on the inside. I'm surprised Zavidovic doesn't go for it, and now he is going to go for it. Harrison spotted it and did cover the inside eventually. Again, the inside slightly vacant, but he wasn't quite there. Simmons trying to do something and trying to get past his teammate, but I think it's probably best that he leaves Zavidovic to try to attack, as Harrison is defending for everything that he's got. Janssen not passed yet, but like I said, Canada Corner going to be a great chance.
Well, I tell you what, Kieran Harrison did very well to keep that position. He really late on the brakes down into turn 5. Canada Corner's turn 12, Sam. Don't worry, I've had my blunder. You've had yours now. I call Canada Corner the Robin Liddell corner because Robin Liddell went around the outside on the last lap in the soaking rain in a Camaro there in a Michelin Pilot Challenge race a couple of years ago. So always call it Robin Liddell corner. Still no idea how he managed it, but anyway, it must be his Scottish genes. But through we go, through the kink, down towards Kettle Bottoms and Canada Corner, turn 12, and this is a good opportunity, and this will be the last lap. So Carl Janssen, Kieran Harrison sees it coming. He goes to the inside, he goes defensive. Carl Janssen, is he going to do the Liddell? He thought about it, but Kieran Harrison says, I've seen that one before. Up towards turn 13 they go. really, really quick blind left-hander. Carl Jansen's going to have one more opportunity here to get the pass done. Harrison goes as defensive as he can, but they're going to have a drag race to the line. It's a long way up the hill. Carl Jansen is right in the draft. Can Harrison hang on? Up the hill they go here at Road America to the checkered flag. Carl Jansen goes out. It's a drag race to the line. The checkered flag is in the air. It's going to be Jansen. Is it going to be Harrison? I think it's going to be Harrison. It is by a whisker. Wow. What a finish here at Road America. I feel like we've seen that so many times at this circuit, but wow, Jansen threw everything, but Harrison, what a defense.
Yeah, that was absolutely incredible, as we're going to have a crash right across the start finish line. That could be a penalty as well. Not sure whose fault that one was. But Marcel Fritsch off the track. Anger just finishes outside of the reverse grid places. But yeah, what a battle between Harrison and Jansen. I thought Jansen maybe could have gone for the inside at the final corner. Harrison just took a slightly tighter line, and Jansen almost got it, but superb drive for Harrison. He defended every move there perfectly, and even a driver of Carl Jansen's caliber could not quite make the move. So well-deserved first race win of the season for Harrison.
Absolutely first-class stuff from our defending champion, Kieran Harrison, as Bobby Thompson comes home in 43rd after big damage. That would have been a long race for the British Touring Car ace for Trade Price Cars Racing. So I wonder if he'll be back with that outfit this season, using their new Hyundai i30N Fastback. It's a very, very nice looking touring car, that.
Yes, certainly the livery that they put out there on circuit as well is it's not half bad. As we are almost complete. I'm just trying to get this delay. We should have a 3-minute delay until the next race. So as we can go through the final standings.
Well, while you're doing that, I shall read us through. So Kieran Harrison, our winner, by 14 thousandths of a second, or in more literal money, 8 tyres width. Absolutely nothing between Harrison and Jansen for the entire race, but our defending champion holds it off right at the very death. Great drive as well from Wojciech Swiridowicz in 3rd, with George Simmons 4th and Corentin Guinez in 5th. Norbert Leitner was 6th, making it 3 HM Engineering machines in the top 6. Terry Flatten was 7th, Daniel Nagy 8th, Fraser Smith was 9th, and Damon Harris for Fiercely Forward was 10th. Marcel Tai was 11th, followed by Adam Hadfield, Ollie Marcus Jorgen, Vasily Zaitsev, and Mark Johnson, the leading driver in the AM class for Hesketh Racing. Jason Cooper was 16th, followed by Hugh Betterman, David Baker, Mikael Garcia, Craig Williams, Oyston Hereford. Ben Gregory was 22nd, and Mark Woodhouse in 23rd, rounding out the AM class podium. Igor Shirikov was 24th, followed by Jack Sedgwick, Oliver Ackerman, Gaten Anger, and Jake Robertson, the Rally Cross star. Sergei Gladskov was 29th, followed by Marius Karlstad, Baron Glover, Jens Ledwig, Bruno Belny, John Billingsley, Robert Rund, Toby Ward, Andrew Brema, Tim Perry, Rob Sanford. Adam Bath drops back to 40th position, so late problems for Adam Bath. Martin Shirley was 41st, followed by Bobby Thompson, Paul Coburn, Marcel Fritsch, Luke Kisley, Andrew Woodhouse, Stu Abbott, Arjen Bakker, Nathan Davies, and Eric Boulton, rounding out a nice round 50-car pack of Audi TCR machines. So this is how they line up then for Race 2 here this evening, for 2 of 3 races we're going to have on the card tonight. Oliver Ackerman, the German in the 171 car, starts from pole position with Jack Sedgwick, the Porsche Taycan Esports Super Cup driver, on the front row of the grid as well. Watch out for that 110 car. Igor Shirikov starts 3rd with Mark Woodhouse in 4th. Ben Gregory and Oyston Hereford start on the 3rd row, followed by Craig Williams, Mikael Garcia, David Baker, and Hoop Etterman rounding out the top 10. Row 6 sees Jason Cooper and Mark Johnston, and Vasily Zaitsev and Ole Marcus Jorgen start on row 7. Adam Hatfield and Marcel Tai start on row 8, followed by Damien Harris, Fraser Smith, Daniel Nagy, Terry Flatten, Norbert Leitner, Corentin Guinez, George Simmons, and Wojciech Swiridowicz. And finally, Carl Janssen and Kieran Harrison start on row 13. Row 14 sees Gaten Anger and Jake Robertson, followed by Sergei Glaskov, Marius Karlstad, Baron Glover, Jens Ledwig, Bruno Belny, John Billingsley, Robert Rund and Toby Ward. Just running through our last few runners: Andrew Brema, Tim Perry, Rob Sanford, Adam Bath, Martin Shelley, Bobby Thompson, Paul Coburn, Marcel Fritsch, Luke Kisley, Andrew Woodhouse, Stu Abbott, Arjen Bakker. And the final two, just off the bottom of the list, is Nathan Davies and Eric Boulton. So we have a green flag, just like that. Off we go for 20 more minutes of touring car racing here at Road America. Good launch from Oliver Ackerman, also from Woodhouse, not too bad there as well in the 238 car, but Jack Sedgwick straight into the draft of Ackerman, looks to the outside. Is he going to try and sling it round on cold tyres? This is a big move. Goodness me, it's like he's got four-wheel drive there. Round he goes, Jack Sedgwick into the lead, making Oliver Ackerman looking like he's driving with Wellington boots on. Look at Sherikov up the inside of Woodhouse as well as they all pile into turn 3.
Yeah, that's the start that Sedgwick needed straight away into the lead. Nice start as well for Hugh Etzman to gain a couple of places. Bad start for Williams. He's down 4 places into 11th. Must have just got shoved out a little bit there. But further up the front, Ackerman trying to respond. Gregory also getting ahead of Shurikov. Very competitive few front drivers here as Gregory goes in deep. He makes contact with Woodhouse, who's going to go wide, 3 wide up the hill. Gregory's barely pulling away from these guys, so Hereford will be very slow on the inside, and somehow they've got through that one in one piece. Now into the kink. This is often where drivers can try to get into single file, but it doesn't work out. But again, at least these drivers near the front are doing well. Simmons with a bit of an off further down the order, and he is slipping down the pack. Oh, that's going to be a massive incident, and that is Flatson Janssen, crucially, and Simmons as well, who was off the circuit previously and must have got involved in another impact.
Well, that's a disaster for Carl Janssen. Of course, our championship leader coming into this meeting, a strong second place finish in the opening race, but absolutely nothing he could have done there by the looks of it, Sam. There's just an absolute 10-pin bowling T-bone steak job there into hurried down. Well, that car was hurrying down the hill absolutely sideways, broadside even. So, it looks Kieran Harrison has got through safely, our race 1 winner. Oh, Norbert Leitner gets bashed into the sand at Canada Corner. Oh, there was just no room left there, and I tell you what, there was one shot earlier in this lap, Sam, where there was they all came underneath the Corvette bridge, and I don't think there was any spare tarmac at all. They were about 4 wide there, but that's touring car racing. You've got to be so street smart. As Damien Harris throws a huge block on Kieran Harrison there, he had to check up slightly, but that's all fair game. All, what as they say, all is fair in love and war. Would that be an appropriate saying? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Harris might be well up in the championship because, of course, he had a decent race 1 and scoring some decent points in this race 2. Baker up in 9th position at the moment. He could be strong in the championship as well. He's just up the inside of Hugh Etzman at the moment. I think, Etzman managed to get up a couple of places at the start, but he's going to lose one of these places now to Dave Baker. He's just trying to consolidate this place. Etzman's in some very good company with Craig Williams as well, who I think finished in 2nd place in one of the races last week, battling with him. There's quite a queue at the moment behind these guys as Baker and Williams try to sprint away. Williams giving his rival a big push down into turn 5, but Johnston wants to get in amongst this. The Hesketh racing driver around the outside at turn 5 runs a bit wide and will have to be looking in his mirrors more than ahead. Etzman trying to respond, and they've also got Zaitsev as well for Wild Animals right with them. Now a bit of a tap, and that was and now Johnston losing a couple of places. Zaitsev as well also having to get on the brakes a bit, and that's really benefited Cooper, and now Zaitsev's off the circuit again, and the positions are quickly escaping his grasp. He's gone from about 11th to 16th in a couple of corners.
Oh, that was a very, very good save there from Vasily Zaitsev to keep that one under control. Kieran Harrison involved in that, well, he's sort of in the vicinity of that, I should do rather, and he's kind of getting a little bit blocked here, but oh my goodness me, he's going to come back across the track surely. Oh, they're all going off sideways. Goodness me, this is the danger with the reverse grid races for these drivers. If you win early, goodness me, you're in the absolute melee. Now, Jack Sedgwick at the moment leading as well. He's. I'm sure he didn't start from the pit lane on purpose, but actually, it doesn't appear to be penalising him too much at this point in time.
Yeah, this season the top few places are a bit more worth, have a bit more worth. The points scoring system is a bit steeper than it has been in previous seasons. So these race wins are really quite valuable. And yes, so it's worked out quite well for Cedric. I do wonder, Mark Chansey's organising this or broadcasting this at the moment on YouTube. I wonder if we could get a replay of Hadfield's crash, because I think if we listen closely, we might just hear Hadfield's spine break, because it was an absolute massive crash going into the kink, and it'd be fascinating to see what was left of that car. I believe he's had to tow back to the pits since. Harrison though up into 16th place. He's up 10 places now from his start, so yeah, really job from him. Only Ledwick has gained more places, 11. I will say Bath has gained 15. That's been great on the start so far. Bobby Thompson up 16 and Luke Kidsley up 18.
Yeah, for Bath and for Adam Bath and Bobby Thompson, if they can get into the top 26, well, of course, Adam Bath is already. That means they can get a good grid position for race 3 and try and salvage something from the evening. Now, here we go. Here's Adam Hadfield's crash. This looked to me like a very abrupt stop. Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me. Oh, my word, yes. That's, yeah, when it's as abrupt a stop as that, it's not so pleasant, but... I don't know what it is about touring cars. You always end up with just monumental accidents as well. I don't know if it's the lack of self-preservation by having a roof over your head. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess you got that many more bits as well to fly off the car. It looks quite spectacular when something like that does happen, but that was weird, because I'd hate to see that happen in real life, because obviously the tyre barrier doesn't cover that part of the wall, so you're straight into the concrete. We've had, I think we had Shirkov past Gregory earlier on this episode, so Shirkov is up into 3rd place, but Ackerman really keeping Cedric for the company. I recall seeing Ackerman in the Sim Racers World Endurance Championship, which we used to broadcast on Apex Racing TV, and he was a very good driver. I think he may have won the championship at T3. I think he was driving, or maybe didn't win the championship, but I think he won races. Their teammates won the GT3 championship. So Ackerman's very accomplished in this car, and to keep as close as he is to Cedric is very impressive. This was Simmons' crash on the first lap. I don't think it was Simmons' fault. Well, we'll see what the stewards think about that. That was the, was it the 199 who came across a little? I think it was Daniel Nagy, I believe, who came across slightly, and they took out a couple more cars.
Have fun with that one in the stewards' room, yes. That was a little bit unlucky, because we're coming back from the grass, and he might not, well, of course, the grass surface here on iRacing, I mean, it is just incredible how realistic this simulator is, and the fact you can have something like this in your own home still boggles my mind, and will always will. But the grass is, I would say, it more mimics wet grass than dry grass, if that illustrates it well enough, because of course wet grass might as well be ice, whereas dry grass there is a little bit of adhesion, so that is certainly what it mimics. Once you're onto the grass, you are such a passenger, and I wonder if that might have been the case there in George Simmons' case, but we'll see how that one looks as they go on. Now Corrington Guinez, he has got quite a bit of damage at the front of his car, so obviously been getting involved in a little bit of nudging, a little bit of argy-bargy, as we say, but his teammate Kieran Harrison up ahead in 13th as we've got a car off there. That is Karlstad going off, but Carl Janssen, I tell you what, this could be a very, very significant drive in this early portion of the season, Sam, because he was in the gravel, smashed up and dead last, and how on earth he's managed to get up to 25th position by now, it boggles the mind. But of course, this is him now in the reverse grid zone, that top 26. So I can imagine he's thinking, well, as disasters go, we're limiting this one as well as we can.
top 29 by the way for this final race. So even better for him, I think, seeing that he can afford to drop a couple more places. Did look very sideways, so I do wonder if he will drop back. But then he must have made up a few places because, like you said, he seemed to be dead last. Here is Simmons. Simmons going to be passed by Fish here. As a bit wide there for Billingsley, one of the new drivers for this round. They happen to have him in the league. However, that's not a very welcoming for him. He's just dropped down to 30 seconds. Simmons looks very fast here despite that damage. Loads of netcode there with Bath and Abbott, it looked like, and Simmons will just go straight past the pair of them. He gains 3 places without much effort in a couple of corners.
Indeed, yes, absolutely. It's certainly getting pretty frisky here, isn't it? Always is here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. But back at the front, Jack Sedgwick, he's not been able to pull away from Oliver Ackerman at all, just half a second between them, so very, very close, just a couple of car lengths, but they really have worked together very, very well. Ackerman very cleverly has just sort of hung on to the boot lid. There's almost that little red strap on the back. Of course, it's there for pulling the car out of the gravel normally, but it's a good one for hooking onto to get pulled away to a lead, with Shirokov nearly 4 seconds behind.
Yeah, and Ackerman has just been edging closer and closer. That gap opened up to about 9/10 on the first lap, and since then it's kind of just gone down by about 1/10 a lap. These laps are very long, so it's down to 6 or 7 tenths now between these two, and so I think Ackerman's going to have a good chance at this race win. Cedric will be a bit disappointed that he hasn't been able to quite end this one as soon as he would have liked, but still in the lead of the race, he won't be complaining too much. Woodhouse still leader of the amateur category. Him and Gregory have been glued together all day long. They're still in 5th and 6th. Were passed by Garcia though a couple of laps ago. Zaitsev has had a tough time. I think we saw him go off the circuit at turn 1 a couple of laps ago. He's still running in 20th place, and you can see lots of drivers up the road. If he can get clear of Johnston here, these two are quite similarly paced. If he can get clear and start pulling away, then might be able to make an impression for those top 12 places.
Indeed, yes, absolutely. Let's hope he can do that. So we see Oyston Hereford now up in 9th position with Jason Cooper right on his bootlet in the 5-star motorsport machine. Now, if you're watching this broadcast and you're a bit of a budding streamer, or you broadcast your own races on Twitch or platforms like that, these graphics that you see on screen right now are actually available via SDK Gaming. That's the provider of our software, and you can use these exact same graphics for your own broadcast. If you have a small club racing with one another or a league, you can do that, or broadcasting your own races. And as well, Sam, now you're much more familiar with competitive iRacing than I am from the driver's seat. So I mean, tell us, I mean, there's other benefits you can have when you're behind the wheel as well, from information and fuel points and things like that.
Yes, that is Simmons just going past Bath. Yeah, there's a fuel calculator, so there's a real nice screen where literally you can have all the data you could ever want about your fuel tank at the top of the screen, and it gives you how much fuel you're using per lap, how far you're expected to go in both laps and in terms of litres. So all of that info, literally everything that you would need in terms of fuel info, and it's just really useful to have kind of the overlay just on the side of the screen, like we've got the battle box in the bottom right. Very useful when you're driving along, rather than having the F3 screen, which isn't very accurate. SDK Gaming has a much more accurate kind of relative info, and so just to have that in the bottom corner is very useful. It's lovely to have all these different graphics, and yet for streaming in particular, it is absolutely a must. So certainly do check out SDK Gaming for all of that.
Now, the one that's a little bit more, shall we say, relevant to me, Sam, is the Apex Racing Academy, where you can subscribe and get coaching and, crucially, car setups for all of the different cars and tracks available on iRacing, and if you want to go quicker in the sim, and I'm certainly trying to try and have a little bit of understanding to what these guys go through in the top levels of competition, like we have here in the ARLTC, and I have to say I'm enjoying my early experience, and will be entered in the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship, which is broadcast here on Apex Racing TV starting from Wednesday night at 8 PM GMT, and I believe we have 2 or 3 places left out of 50 cars, I think. Sam, am I right in saying?
It's
full. It's sold out. Well, watch me run at the back of a 50-car field at Apex Racing TV next week. Wow.
Yeah, that's good luck, is all I can say. You're going to need it. In fact, actually, you're right on the cusp of being a pro driver. So, yeah, your iRacing flatters you, I think. So, I will have to decide on that one as we rejoin this very tight battle for third place. Sorry, it's the final spot on the podium. Garcia at the moment at the front of it. Baker just picking off these drivers one by one. He is up another place. Woodward as well doing well. He's got ahead of Gregory up into 7th place. Williams dropping down a bit down to 6th, and then Shurikov remaining in 5th. Baker a bit wide. He's having to defend from Shurikov here, who is in either his first or second meeting in the championship. Certainly didn't do last season. So probably doesn't have quite the same respect as the others do for Dave Baker, who's very much known for being a very fair competitor. Do kind of want Dave to finish in 6th place. It is remarkable how he's finished pretty much most races in this series in 6th place. But he's overperforming at the moment. He's up into 4th, and Williams as well going with him. And these two have been quite close to one another for a while, now running in 4th and 5th.
Williams and Shurikov are saying, "Come on, David, and I move over. We need to keep traditions going, so we'll get you back to 6th place in no time, chum." Now, back at the front, Oliver Ackerman is starting to bring that gap back down again. It seemed like Jack Sedgwick got it to about 7 or 8 tenths, which is sort of in the danger zone for the car behind to begin to start losing the best bits of the draft. Now, of course, at the following distance that Oliver Ackerman has right now, he's definitely getting a very good chunk of slipstream effect. So Jack Sedgwick's Audi there, the number 110 machine, is punching a nice big hole in the air for Ackerman to basically drive through with lower air resistance and therefore higher speed. So let's see the lap times. Very, very close, just about half a tenth between them, so virtually nothing. But Ackerman is in the position where he would be able to make a manoeuvre as we come into the closing stages of the race. But Corentin Guinez now has got big problems here with one of the Ferry Monster cars behind, and that's Etterman. Oh dear. Gets a big old help round there, and I think that what they call that in stock car racing fraternity is getting dumped.
Yes, he's down to 24th position, just with Carl Janssen at the moment. So they've had different issues on their way to those very mediocre places by their standards. But we'll be within the reverse grid at the moment. Currently, the reverse grid pole will be going to Andrew Woodhouse for Scuderia Alpha Touring Car, or Alpha Towering Car, like the F1 team, everyone. I literally, team names usually disappoint me quite a bit. Very impressed by that one. Congrats to Andrew and to Adam on that one. But yeah, 29th place, he's got George Simmons there behind him. He could pass Frisch, perhaps, just ahead. But Woodhouse is up 17 places. Frisch just ahead of him, up 16. That's the line from Simmons, using all types of time. Everyone was going back into Michigan. Right there, gets the inside her for the next corner, and he now takes a reverse grid pole. But I think it's worth going back up to maybe 6th and 7th, because that's looking very tight between Williams and co. Williams just dropping off the back. Well, Shurikov got past Williams then, and then Williams has dropped off those guys and is in the clutches of Woodhouse. Jason Cooper once again under the radar. Cooper, but always seemingly up there in 8th place, and then Harrison rounding out the top 9. So Harrison really taking away a lot of points tonight. It looking like he's going to have a similar meeting to what Janssen had at Silverstone.
Indeed, I have to say, I'm loving that battle between Simmons and Andrew Woodhouse, because That is the difference of starting on pole or starting 30th. That is talking about high stakes. That bubble battle is so impressive, so interesting. Now Ackerman at the front has lapped just over a tenth quicker, nearly 10th and a half quicker than Sedgwick. So they're on to the final lap now. They're coming through down towards. Now where I lost my bearings on the circuit. Where on earth? Come on, Peter.
Turn 3.
Turn 3, there we go. Yes, I'm looking at that upside down. That's it, underneath the cheese bridge. Once you see the cheese bridge, you know where you are. You know you're on the Marine Sweet. There it is, Sargento cheese. We're real cheese people. And we tell really cheesy jokes here on Apex Racing TV. But down they go, down towards turn 5. And Ackerman's going to have a look now. He's actually just about got his nose ahead. But Sedgwick places his car perfectly. And of course, being a Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup driver, he will be no stranger to the rough and tumble of wheel-to-wheel combat.
Yeah, definitely. Ackerman, I feel like I back Sedgwick for this one. I feel like Ackerman will be happy with second place. But I kind of want the... I don't know what I'm talking about, to be honest. Obviously, he wants to win. But I can't help but feel like second place would be his best result in the series. And he's not going to risk getting a penalty in order to overtake Sedgwick, as he takes an alternative line through the car, so it could be alright getting the power a little bit earlier, but he's got a lot of catching up to do as Sedgwick opens up that gap to 4 tenths. It's looking very good for him.
I think he's kind of thinking, well, I can always get another second another time, but a win is a win. You've got to go for the win, and I'm sure any racer, whoever's in front, you want to go past them down to Canada Corner for the last time on the 9th lap of this race, the 9th and final lap. Round they go then towards turn 13. Jack Sedgwick absolutely inch perfect so far. They're nearly 9 seconds ahead of the nearest car, so they're operating in their own universe. Ackerman has followed Jack Sedgwick. He's studied him really late on the brakes there from Oliver Ackerman, absolutely backing it in, Walter Roll style, like Audi Quattro stuff. But Sedgwick has got the run. It looks like Jack Sedgwick is going to win this race. He started from pit lane in race 1. He made his way up into the reverse grid, and he wins race 2 here at Road America. But I tell you what, Sam, great drive there from Oliver Ackerman to live with Jack Sedgwick's pace the whole way through. We get our next Garcia 3rd, Baker 4th, Shirokov 5th, Craig Williams in 6th, and Mark Woodhouse taking an AM-class victory in 7th overall. Great drive.
And George Simmons, I'm really sad for Woody. I'm sure he would have loved to be on the reverse grid pole. But it'll be Simmons then on the reverse grid pole, and that is a good job considering that's the shape of that Apex Racing Team car. He will be pleased with that one. A few more drivers now to get across the line. Some good drivers as well, Nagy and Flatson, Robertson as well. In fact, actually, we've got a move there for Robertson. Flatson may be running out of fuel, or maybe just has so much damage. He's lost the rear wing, showing off the new damage model right there. And he is very slow to the finish. He might even get done by Bath as well, although Bath has just gone off the circuit, so he's messed that one up. Flatson will just about reach the line in 39th place. Look at Davies as well, hunting these guys down to the line.
Yep, it's either no lack of giving up in the ARLTC Championship. But let's have a look at the race results and see where your favourite drivers finished. Well, we will once the overlay resets, and it will come up, and we will run you through the results for this race 2 here at Road America. Thanks to everyone all watching in the YouTube comments. Always nice to hear from you all as well. Send us in a question if you wish to. Jack Sedgwick then, your winner from Oliver Ackerman and Mikhail Garcia rounding out the podium. David Baker was 4th, followed by Igor Shirokov, Craig Williams, Mark Woodhouse, Jason Cooper, Kieran Harrison. Good drive from the defending champion. That was stealthy, wasn't it? Ben Gregory in 10th. Oyston Hereford was 11th, followed by Damien Harris, Fraser Smith, Gate Nanger, Ollie, Marcus Jorgen, Hub Etterman, Wojciech Swiridowicz, Vasily Yetsev, Mark Johnson, Norbert Leitner, Bobby Thompson, Sergei Glazkov, Cornton Guinez, Tim Perry, Carl Janssen, Marius, Karlstad, Toby Ward, Marcel Fritsch, George Simmons, Andrew Woodhouse, Stu Abbott, Robert Rund, Martin Shirley, Andrew Brema, Rob Stanford, Marcel Ty, Daniel Nagy, Jake Robertson, Terry Flatton, and Adam Bath. And finally, Nathan Davies, John Billingsley, Eric Bolton, Luke Kidsley, Jens Ledwick, Baron Glover, Adam Hadfield, Arjen Bakker, Bruno Belney, and Paul Coburn. So we're going to take a very, very short break here on Apex Racing TV. We will be back in no time at all for Race 3. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship live on Apex Racing TV. Once again, I'm Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is Peter Mackay, Mark Chancer, operating the cameras. And we are just about to start this race 3 of the evening. We've already had a couple of race winners so far tonight. But most likely going to see a third different one as well in just a moment, and perhaps a new championship leader as well. 29 places being reversed from the race 2 results to set the grid for race 3, which will be coming up on the screen for you very soon. But at the moment, the judges just having a little bit of a relax, or maybe not so much a relax, for a couple of them getting a little bit of time on track in the warm-up session to keep themselves fresh before we will start to grid up. Just a reminder, and just a thanks as well to VRS, whose trailer I believe you just saw. Big thanks to them for supporting all of Apex Racing TV's broadcasts. Certainly do check out the virtual racing school, and also thanks to Apex Racing Academy and SDK Gaming as well for their continued support of the channel. So the checker flag is out for warm-up, and we are about to go to the grid then for this race 3 of the evening, and yeah, the final race of the evening as well. And Peter, I think you can take us through it.
Okay, so another deep breath for all 50 cars for this final race of the day. George Simmons starts on pole position for Apex Racing Team with Marcel Fritsch alongside him on the front row. Row 2 sees Toby Ward and Marius Karlstad. Row 3 will be Carl Janssen and Tim Perry. Carl Janssen, watch for him. Championship leader coming into this meeting. Just got a little bit of ground to make up. Corentin Guinez and Sergei Glazkov start on row 2, followed by Bobby Thompson, Norbert Leitner, Mark Johnson and Zasily Zaitsev. Wojciech Swiridowicz starts from 13th, followed by Hugh Betterman, Aldi Marcus Jorgen, Gaten Anger, Fraser Smith, Damien Harris, Oyston Hereford, Ben Gregory, Kieran Harrison, Jason Cooper, Mark Woodhouse, and Craig Williams. And quickly, Igor Shorokov, David Baker, Mikael Garcia, Oliver Ackerman, Jack Sedgwick, Andrew Woodhouse, Stu Abbott, Robert Rund, Martin Shirley, Andrew Bremer, Rob Sanford, and Marcel Tai. Daniel Nagy and Jake Robertson start from the 19th row, followed by Terry Vlatin, Adam Bath, Nathan Davies, John Billingsley, Eric Boulton, Luke Kidsley, Jens Ledwig, Baron Glover, Adam Hadfield, Arjen Bakker, Bruno Belny, and Paul Coburn. We might have a little bit of a jump start there. I think Marcel Fritz there maybe... Oh, it might have been Karlstad actually had a little bit of a jump start, but we'll see if that one pops up or not. But down they go towards turn 1. George Simmons just got his nose ahead for now. Karlstad with that little bit of a question mark on there. Toby Ward in 3rd, Marcel Fritsch in 4th, but they get through cleanly. But watch Corentin Guinez coming through the pack in 5th. Also Carl Janssen in there too.
Yeah, well, Fitch did jump the start there. It didn't work too well for him because he's down into 4th position. Ward into the lead of the amateur drivers. And Simmons just after a really good start. Simmons, great launch from the line and just seemed to be a little bit slowed down into turn 1 as he's now under the pressure from Karlstad trying to attack him from the outside into turn 5 for the first time. Just behind him, Fitch getting back ahead of Ward. That could be quite an important move. Also Janssen as well with a very good position for this race 3 up the front, and Guinez as well following his way through, so Ward loses a couple of places in quick succession right there. Leitner also very dangerous up in 7th position at the moment. As Zaitsev also getting past Glasgow. Just seeing Adam Hadfield up 10 places in the first few corners. He started in 47th place. He's up into 37th already. So great start for Adam here. Hadfield, who obviously crashed out in race 2.
Yeah, good start as well from Bobby Thompson. You saw him coming on the brakes there into turn 5 and just letting off the brakes and just picking up a couple of bonus places there. Just found a little bit of spare tarmac to get his 5-star Motorsport Audi into position, but Carl Janssen really looking racy here in 4th. He does have a little bit of damage on the rear left quarter panel, but it doesn't look to be holding him back too much as he goes down bump drafting with Marcel Fritz down Kettle Bottoms towards Canada Corner, but Marcel Fritz kind of loses out slightly, and Janssen and Guinez go through, and Norbert Leitner in 6th, not too far back as well in the other HM Engineering machine. And we've got a spinner. I think that might be... Oh, it's one of the fiercely forward cars. It might be Damien Owen Harris. Had a spin further back. Okay, good spot, Sam. So, Carl Janssen up to 3rd. Karlstad, now I'm pretty convinced, Sam, that either Karlstad got the start of the season or he had a jump start, one of the two. Will we know that before the end of the race if he is guilty or not?
We will do, yeah. The iRacing system should award that one. Unfortunately, around Road America, the lap is so long that actually you can get away without serving a penalty for a while. But I think 5 laps is the absolute maximum you can go before it does just kick you from the race. So yeah, if he has got a jump start, then he will be serving that drive within the next few laps. Janssen, though, up into 2nd place. He's got past Karlstad, who is dropping down. It's not too bad, though, because it's just Guinez. So we've got Simmons, Janssen and Guinez up the front, and this is, you know, good enough for the top 3 in race 1, top 3 on the grid for race 1. And here we are in race 2 with the reverse grid. We just put them all up. Simmons again taking that very wide line, but he's made a mistake, and he had broken the draft to a certain extent, had Simmons, but that alternative line that time has cost him badly, and we've now got the top 3 right with one another. I doubt Karlstad will keep up with these guys, but certainly the top 3 plus maybe Leitner as well in 5th place could be in for a very tight tussle, just as we saw in race 1 earlier on.
Yeah, it would appear so. And Carl Janssen, you can tell he's smelt blood here. He's really not wanting to mess around. He's was very unlucky in race 2, just caught up in someone else's incident really, but managed to get himself into the reckoning for the reverse grid and making the very most of it now in that number 192 Sit4 Sim racing car. The question is, Sam, will he be happy to sit there behind George Simmons, or does he feel he needs to move past? Does he feel like he has more pace than George Simmons? We shall see. They come down the head of bottoms down towards Canada Corner once more, hard on the brakes. Tell you what, George Simmons very late in the brakes there, tucks it into the apex very nicely indeed as well. But watch for Corentin Guinez. Of course, he's the reigning SRW Winter Series Touring Car Champion, and in emphatic fashion as well. So got good pace, and he's a relatively new acquisition for HM Engineering, and should be very happy with their new fast Frenchman. But here we go, we've got our answer, Sam. Carl Janssen pops out, he's going for it.
Yeah, maybe just learning from race 1 when obviously he couldn't get the move done on the last lap, and just being like, he wants to get the lead and then give Simmons the tough job of getting past on the last lap. But they've got to be careful because, you know, they've got Savidovic and Thompson in 8th and 9th place. Also got, well, Harrison's a bit further down, but Harrison's 14th, yeah, a bit probably out of it. But they can't afford to lose each other too much time here. But Janssen is up into the lead. Guinness so far has just followed through Janssen on every single one of these overtakes. He's not really had to do too much, Guinness. This time he does have to stay behind, as Leitner, the other HM Engineering driver, he is moving up to 4th place, trying to get past Karlstad. Simmons wants to retake the lead straight away here. Once I feel use that very wide line once again down on the brakes, although he's again keep it a little bit tighter this time. Janssen with that move covered off, and now Simmons almost getting a little bit boxed in. Guinness with the inside will surely have the upper hand into the left-hander. Simmons still fighting this one. They've got to be careful here not to make contact as they come almost glancing blows there, and now half a second between the top two. Guinness is going to go for it again, and guys, don't lose each other too much time because it's allowing Janssen to pull away. Now Simmons trying to get the cut back. It was Guinness who ran a little bit wide, and Simmons just slots himself ahead, but guys, that was just a waste of time really, because now you're 7/10 off the lead, just close enough for the toe, but they've got to try some good corners now to catch back up to Janssen.
Yeah, that's Christmas come early for Carl Janssen. He'll be looking in his mirror saying, oh yes guys, that's fantastic, keep doing that, please. And I wonder if maybe that's what Janssen was banking on when he went past George Simmons, knew that he had pace to go quicker than the bunch were going, and decided to make a break for it, and that seems to be working quite well so far. Now, it seems clear to me, Sam, that Corentin Queen is in 3rd place right now in that red and black HM Engineering Audi, the 166 car. Seems like he has the same thinking as Janssen. He's thinking, I've got more pace than this, I can go quicker than this, I need to get by. And just judging by the body language of his car, he really does want to get by. Now, we've got to watch here. George Simmons is pretty vulnerable here. He's got Corentin Queen is right in the draft. Carl Janssen goes to try and break any draft that's left. He should be able to hold the position to turn 1 quite easily, well, Carl Janssen. But Corentin Queen, as you know, that he'll have a lunge if there is even the slightest opportunity. Here he goes.
Yep, and Simmons just had enough as to drive it in deep. Managed to gain 0.2 of a second on Janssen, just down the pit straight. That's the strength of the toe. That's also the length of that French stretch. And Simmons back into play now, so he's 5.5 tenths behind. Should be able to get within about 4 tenths by the time they get on the brakes for turn 5. But here comes Guinness again, and this is now in the power of Janssen to who he gives the draft to. I think he's giving it to Guinness at the moment, and Guinness will move ahead. Maybe Simmons with a slight draft. Now Simmons backs out of it, and that's mature driving there from Simmons. Realise that they've lost enough time fighting for 2nd place. Just get in behind and let Guinness tow them back up to the back of Janssen. Yeah, 6 tenths at the moment, that gap between the two of them. Wonder if we go a little bit further down to Sergei Glaskov versus Toby Ward, a bit further down the order. Here is Smith with that big battle just going on behind them, and Ward is in amongst it. So it's Glaskov, Edsman, Ward, then Jason Cooper, who's having a very good day. Jack Sedgwick in there in 18th place, and also Williams and Hereford a little bit further down. The 3 Spires car just losing a bit of touch now with the couple of drivers ahead as Cedric barges his way past Cooper and up into 17th place. Now it's Jack Sedgwick.
Yeah, Jack Sedgwick putting together actually a pretty decent meeting after starting absolutely dead last from the pit lane in race 1, making his way through, winning race 2, and then on the charge now. He'll have the confidence behind him, and it's been a brilliant recovery drive from the Briton.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't qualify, to be honest. Oh, that's really slow there for Williams there. Oh no, now we've got Flatson and Garcia. I think that was Garcia hard into the wall. Flatson was off the circuit for a moment there as well. And now Alston from Williams being so slow out there. I don't know what's gone on with Craig Williams there, but here was the incident again. I think they may have even tried to go through, and Flatson just making a bit of contact, and certainly at first glance there, it looked like that may have been Flatson's fault.
Yeah, quite possibly. It's rough and tumble out there in the ARLTC Championship, and a few quite damaged-looking cars so far in this third race. It always can be a little bit, should we say, fractious from time to time. It's always that era of desperation. Everyone wants to get a good result to sign the night off, but interestingly, Carl Janssen, I thought he was gone, but Guina is just about holding it around 7/10 of a second. So Guina, if he can stay ahead of George Timmins, we might still have a battle for the win on.
Yeah, I think so. I must say, I thought Guinness would actually catch up to Janssen. I thought the opposite to you, because I thought that draft would be strong enough for him to catch up, but that gap now down to half a second. Meanwhile, Hadfield, no reverse grid for once to be discussing. This is really all just however high up you finish, the higher up you finish, the better for these drivers. Also a little bit of a word, so I don't think we've mentioned it the last couple of weeks. For every 10 incidents the drivers get, they get 3 penalty points, and that's actually something that Carl Janssen suffered from last time out, where he picked up 10 incidents in 2 of the 3 races, and that cost him 6 points, which is a little bit. He did win a race, which is 75, so you know, compared to that, it's not too significant, but they do want to keep those incidents down as much as they possibly can. Moving their way past, I think Igor Shurkov you see baseline for the Wild Animals Racing team. For a moment there, the Wizards just dropping down. Anger's off the circuit in the background, so it's still going on. Sergei Glazkov, who I think used to drive in the Euro V8 Supercar series, which was a fantastic series. It's still going, I should say. So I saw him a couple of years ago in that, and I see him back on Apex Racing TV in this series.
Absolutely, yeah. Of course, well, probably the only thing they have in common is being a kind of relatively humble road car base and then turned into a racer. But they are completely different ways to skin a cat, aren't they? Of course, this quite a lightweight front-wheel drive, small engine, 2-litre, little turbocharger on it, a V8 supercar. Well, very, very heavy, about the same weight as a NASCAR. Rear-wheel drive and huge power from its V8 engine, naturally aspirated V8 engine at that. A really, really special bit of kit, the V8 supercar. But Tin Top Racing is Tin Top Racing. Oh, beer, that's a big one.
And he's going to go back onto circuit. Oh, that could have been a lot worse. And contact there for Glazkov. Davies, I think, got caught up in that one. So it's the 138 down the inside. They've already made contact there. And then that seemed like a bit of understeer there for who was it? I am not quite sure. Yeah, not quite sure on that one. Maybe I think it was Jason Cooper. Apologies. I think was the Joe who he made a bit of contact with, and yeah, it's cost them both quite badly. And very fortunate for others not to get involved. We did have a safety car the last time that we visited this circuit in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship, where we had a crash just coming out of Cannon's corner, and the whole track was blocked. That's the nature of the close walls around this place. I thought we might have a similar situation there between turns 1 and 2, but we avoided it that time.
And we know you love a safety car, Sam.
Well, unfortunately, they're not a thing anymore. We don't get safety cars anymore in this series. So, if there's a pile-up, let them pile up, is what we say.
Indeed. Or tow back to the pit lane. One of the two.
Or that, maybe.
Yeah. Oh my goodness me, Mark Woodhouse having a... Oh, he will be twitching like a rabbit's nose at the wheel of that Audi. Oh my word. That is not where you want to go wide at the kink. He was onto the grass, did very, very well to keep that one out of the wall. Almost impossible to do, actually, but good job. And he's got race 2 runner-up, Oliver Ackerman, all over his back bumper here. Mark Woodhouse trying to keep him at bay. At the moment, it's Marcel Fritsch leading in Anne. in 7th place overall. I'll tell you what, in each race, we've had a standout AM driver getting right in there in the mix in the top 10.
Yeah, we have, haven't we? And it's kind of been a different one each time. Yeah, Woodhouse and Gregory were very strong in that last race, and Johnston, of course, very strong in race 1. But yeah, Marcel Fish doing very well at the moment in 7th. But Guinea's right onto the back of Janssen now, so he has been able to close that gap. And we've still got 2 more laps to go after this one, so Guinness doesn't have to go for it, and he is going to anyway, so here we go. For the race lead, Janssen not fighting it too much unless he's aiming for a cutback. Simmons back to that old line. I think it works really well, that line. I don't know what you think of it, Peter, but I think theoretically at least it should work.
I wonder if he's getting an incident point for doing that, because it's so far off the actual marked circuit. But, you know, there are little kind of almost Easter eggs within each circuit where you think, well, that surely can't be within track limits, but the automatic system doesn't pick it up. There was, when Long Beach came out, there was I think it's turn 4, you could cut it massively, but that loophole did get closed quite quickly.
I mean, I remember driving the IR01 round there, and if you cut it enough, you avoid the curb. But if you don't cut it enough, you hit the curb and you destroy the car. So I'm very glad that you can't do that anymore.
Yes, that is good. And I was the new Dallara IR01, what a machine it is. But driving it at Long Beach, it's like trying to drive a NASA space shuttle through a 1-bedroom apartment. It's hair racing, it really is. I thought the IndyCar was hair racing around there, but my word. But I tell you what, you've got to take your hat off to Dallara, the legendary the legendary racing car manufacturer, I should say, who have been so cooperative and so helpful and aligned with iRacing to create lots of real world racing cars, but also the Dallara IR1, a car that you really couldn't campaign in the modern day motorsport, where safety is so important and rightly so. But to have it here in the sim, where it's such an incredible piece of technology, actually.
Yeah, it sure is, and very pleased that we're going to be hosting a league for that, the Apex Racing League Grand Prix Series, and that should be announced in a couple of weeks' time, I believe. So if you want to find out about that announcement, join our Discord in the link in the description below. There's a link to the Apex Racing League Discord. Join that, and you will see announcements for that and all our other series, including the Apex Racing League GT series, the Porsche Cup series, and plenty of others. There's an incredible battle going on for the lead. Guinness versus Janssen. Switched around about 20 times. Right, Guinness got the lead on the last lap, and yeah, you're absolutely right. Leitner gets involved. A couple of HM Engineering cars up in this top 4. Janssen coming back down the inside here, but Guinness with the slightly better line. If you're just ahead on the outside there, you can muscle your way around the outside, get the inside for the kink. And he is ahead. We've got one more lap to go after this one, so still plenty of time for Janssen. But Leitner up to 3rd place. That's really important now for Norbert Leitner, because if he can get past Janssen, then that would be a huge release to Guinness.
It would indeed, yeah. And this is what HM Engineering have really got it nailed down. I mean, they've got a great cast of drivers, and they've got power in numbers as well. Of course, you've got Harrison, the defending champion, but Guinness and Leitner, two very, very fast drivers in the touring cars as well. And for Harrison's championship defence, that's absolutely critical. I mean, Carl Janssen, he's kind of in it on his own, isn't he? He's got to battle them all by himself. Not so much for George Simmons. He does have a few quick teammates as well, but Carl Janssen was lunging up the inside at Canada Corner, and it looks like Guinness is maybe going to get the cutback. He might well do. Carl Janssen gets it back again, but watch Guinness here into turn 14. Is he going to try the dive bomb? Wolf, he gives the impression he might do, but now we're going to see as we come up to take the white flag, signifying the last lap. Carl Janssen goes very, very defensive early, takes his line early, signifies to the HM Engineering guys behind him, saying, this is my line, I'm going to take it, you can go around me if you can, but there's no way you're getting the inside lines. And that's what he's done, and he's done it very, very well there. And Guinness, is he going to try and hang this around the outside? He's got a good run. Janssen just moves across slightly. He's allowed to do that and runs him under the curb a wee bit as well. Great, hard, fair racing here, but This could go to any of these 4 guys, but you think that George Simmons as well, he's probably watching all this going on saying, the sea could just part in front of me here, perhaps.
Yeah, it really could. This is where the race win was basically decided last time out. Well, to be fair, it came down to 100th of a second. I think I was on the line where it was decided. But this is a really important corner, turn 5, and this is the best opportunity to pass on this final lap. And Guinness is trying to get ahead, and he does get ahead. And that was a remarkable overspeed. And now Leitner gets a bit hit off. And now it's terrible news for HM Engineering because he's gone wide as well. It's Guinness down into 3rd place, and Simmons, the seas has parted, and now he's trying to attack. Janssen will have a very good chance at Janssen down into Canada corner, into the final corner, or into on the run to line. But I really thought that was going to be an HM Engineering 1-2 for a moment there, but Guinness got a bit over aggressive on the brakes, and then we also had Janssen and Leitner make a slight door-to-door contact and just sent Leitner off. But yeah, I think it's going to now be down to Janssen or Simmons.
Who knows? I don't think Guinness is done yet. He's going to be driving angry here, and well, that can go one way or the other as they come through the kink for the final time. Down towards Kettle Bottoms and Canada Corner. Carl Janssen, he's had a fantastic start to the season. Podium in race 1. Difficult race 2, but got himself where he needed to for this race. Stay hard on the brakes. Simmons decides not to have a look there. Nice tight apex there, gets a pretty good run. Carl Janssen defend? He's lost 1 drag race to the line so far this evening to Kieran Harrison back in race 1. What's going to happen here as they come into the final corner? Janssen has the line and he's looking very, very smart indeed. Looks like he might just have an up his shoulder, a little bit of grass on the exit, but it looks like it's going to be the number 192. Super sweet Carl Janssen is your winner here in race 3 at Elkhart Lake Road America. George Simmons is 3rd, Corentin Guinness 3rd, and Norbert Leitner 4th. Heartbreak for HM Engineering at the last moment, but still a good bag of championship points nonetheless. Now, looks like Sam, that Karlstad did not have a jump start, so my apologies to him for that. Sweridowicz in 5th, Zaitsev 7th, and Marcel Fritsch gets the AM class win.
Good drive there from Fritsch, but good drive as well from Janssen. Guinness will be kicking himself for not getting the race win there. You know, he had the opportunity down into turn 5. I said how important that corner would be, and in the end, that was where he lost it, did Guinness, after managing to take the lead round the outside. But still solid points in 3rd place. But Janssen maybe just holding on to the championship leader. Harrison with 3 top 10s for today. I doubt he would have overmounted Janssen right there with a couple of top 2s across for Janssen. But yeah, a couple of good recoveries from some drivers there, particularly Janssen and Cedric and Garcia after troubles in the earlier races. Paul Coburn then going to be the last driver to reach the line in 44th position. I didn't want to jinx it earlier on, but we avoided any lap 1 huge instance, didn't we? And in most races, we've only had 4 or 5 retirements, which is surprisingly few.
Absolutely. I think the respect between the drivers has been really first class. Touring car racing always really antagonizes aggressive racing, but the guys have been really, really good, really, really fair so far this season. Will we be saying that in the final few rounds? Well, we know that the temperature gets turned up then, but we shall see. But Carl Janssen, your winner then. Another great meeting for the Swedes. Of course, a 2nd place in race 1 and a win here in race 3 solidifies his position. George Simmons 2nd, a good drive for the Apex Racing team. Ace Corentin Guinness, top of the HM Engineering guys, with Norbert Leitner 4th and Wojciech Sweridowicz in 5th. Marius Karlstad was 6th, followed by Belisy Zaitsev, Marcel Fritsch. Kieran Harrison, again, Mr. Stealth himself, just sneaks his way up there, and another top 10 and another bag of points for the defending champion. Bobby Thompson gets a top 10 for the BTCC star. Ole Marcus Jorgen was 11th, followed by Jack Cedric, Fraser Smith, Tim Perry, 2nd in AM, 14th overall. Hub Etterman was 15th, followed by David Baker, Gaten Anger, Marcel Ty, Ben Gregory, and Adam Hadfield rounds out the top 20. Terry Flatton, Damien Owen Harris, Mark Woodhouse, Oliver Ackerman, Toby Ward, Igor Shirkov, Daniel Nagy, Oyston Hereford, Jason Cooper, and Sergei Glavskov are your top 30. Mikael Garcia, Baron Glover, Mark Johnson, Andrew Woodhouse, Nathan Davies, Bruno Bellney, Martin Shirley, Craig Williams, Robert Rund, and Rob Sanford are your top 40. And finally, Adam Bath, Jake Robertson, Andrew Brema, Paul Coburn, Eric Boulton, Stu Abbott, Jens Ledwig, John Billingsley, and Arjen Bakker and Luke Kidsley round out your 50-strong field. So let's see, do we have any? We do not have any drivers quick to hop out of the car just yet, Sam, but I'm sure we will do. While we're waiting for them, your thoughts and conclusions from today's 33 20-minute races of action here at Road America.
Yeah, once again, the driving standards have impressed for the last couple of weeks, and yeah, we're still trying to get a better picture of who's going to be fighting for the championship. Certainly, you know, some established faces, but also a couple of new guys coming to the series, which seem very quick out there, who may be fighting for those top places. Just a reminder to everyone that you can still join this series. We've got a big grid, but it's not full. We have a cap of 60 drivers, and you can see out there today we had 50 drivers. I think we've got 54 entries at the moment, so still 6 entries spare. And if you want to sign up to the championship, then there should be a link to the apexracingleague.com website. And if you go on that, then you'll find the ARLTC section, and you'll find sign up details on around there. So yeah, go to apexracingleague.com and then you can purchase an entry for the final 14 rounds of the championship. It is a long old championship, this, but yeah, if you're a touring car fanatic, then we certainly recommend joining us. We've got a round next week, of course, round 3 of the championship. I cannot recall. I think it might be Sonoma or somewhere where it is next week. I will check for in a moment. But so we're visiting some pretty cool circuits later on the season. Nordschleife and Long Beach as well. Just a couple of them. So yeah, will be a very good championship to sign up to if you are interested.
Well, you had me at Long Beach. I absolutely adore Long Beach. You are correct. We are off to Sonoma next week, Sam. We're off to wine country as well. And did you know that Scott Pruitt, the up until very, very recently, the most successful IMSA sports car driver of all time, until it was his win record was surpassed by Bill Oberlin, the BMW factory driver. Scott Pruitt has his own winery in that general region of the world. So maybe we can both have a glass of Scott Pruitt wine to toast the occasion.
Perhaps so. I am a student, so you will be having to buy it for me. I'm not sure if I'll have the budget, but certainly if you're having some, then I will happily join you.
I think we can stretch to that. I think so. Yeah. Apparently his wines are absolutely excellent. Well, the someone who will be toasting a good day's work at Road America is George Simmons, and he is about to join us in the commentary box now, and he is with my esteemed colleague Sam Fitzpatrick.
Yes, George Simmons in the commentary box with us. Congratulations, George. Second place in that final race. We'll go like opposite of chronological order and start with the last race. You must have been quite happy when you saw the mistakes from the couple of cars ahead on that final lap.
Yeah, it was certainly quite busy, I guess. I think I'd already somehow, I can't remember how, but got quite a few instant points, so I couldn't afford even a single 4x on the last lap there. So I just, when the two HM engineering boys came through, I just thought I'll let them go and just see what happens. And then, yeah, fortunately there was a bit of contact, bit of a racing incident really ahead, and yeah, just popped through. And then it was nice because I'd obviously made a bit of a mistake in race 2. I don't know if you saw it or not on the replays, but obviously took Janssen out of the race, so it was good to just sit behind him and hopefully repay him a few points that he would have lost from my mistake in race 2. But yeah, overall we didn't have particularly good speed at all today, and yeah, I think I got P4 and a P2, so that'll do.
Definitely. We saw your very unique line going into turn 5 where you took a lot of extra tarmac or whatever it is out there. Where did that come from? I mean, is that something that you've been doing around this circuit for a little while? Is that something that you just do for the TC, or is that something you do for all cars around this track?
Well, those who know me know that I don't really drive anything else, particularly not around this track. One of my least favourite, should we say? Yeah, so I've been doing it for a little while. I think it's since they repainted the circuit actually. So a little while back they had a bit of an update here. I think they smoothed a few bumps out, painted the curbs a different colour, and updated the advertising signs. And for some reason took the 1X off the right hand side of the track at turn what everyone else calls turn 3. So yeah, I was just a standard line through there for me now, and I think it works quite nicely. And particularly if you're in the pack at the first lap, it's quite a unique line to use because most people stick to the circuit and you can bomb it down the outside and pick up a couple of places. So yeah, I was quite happy to use that one in race 2.
I know you're not a massive fan of the calendar this season. I don't think you're a big fan of Sonoma either. But are you excited at all for visiting that circuit next time out?
To be honest, I'm more excited for Sonoma than I was for here. I don't think it's a bad track at all, but I think it's going to be quite busy next week. Yeah, definitely. Once you've got all these cars very close together, it's a very tight track. So I think it'll be entertaining in the commentary box, but I think we're going to need a few spare front bumpers for next week. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, well, that benefits us. We don't really care too much about the repair bill, but as long as it's good last for us. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, George. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Thanks a lot. Yeah, the usual guys. Obviously, thanks a lot for you guys for putting on the broadcast as you do. And the new championships organisers for this year as well, doing a great job. And then, of course, Apex Racing Team, SDK Gaming, and I suppose RLL Esports as well, even though they're not on my car. And, of course, Apex Racing Academy, where you can come along and get coached by me.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, George. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks very much.
George Simmons there.
Just don't ask him for lessons at Sonoma, obviously.
No, well, George isn't a big fan of quite a few of the circuits. I think Nordschleife is another one that he's not looking forward to. But I can't wait personally, so I'm looking forward to it myself.
As am I. Yes, absolutely. We are certainly in the comfortable position to watch it all unfold. I think Summit Point, if we get a grid the same size as we did today, 50 cars at Summit Point, that's going to be a whole bunch of fun. Now, I think, why don't we get our championship leader in, Carl Janssen? Carl Janssen, welcome to the Apex Racing TV commentary box. That was certainly more ups than downs, but a roller coaster day at Road America. Tell us about it.
Well, the first race was really good. I would have liked to have the win there. It was very close. I think it was like 1400ths of a second, so wasn't much to get Kieran there, but yeah, he got me in the end there. Started race 2 and got a half decent start there. And made some positions up, and then obviously was involved in that crash down there in the left-hander before the carousel. Did my best to get into the top 29 top 29 there, and just got there. I had so much damage, so I was quite lucky to actually get in there. And then for the race itself, for the last race there, my main goal was just to get to George as quick as possible, because he started on pole, and got there, and then the HM guys hanged on there. Got a bit of a gap, and then they caught that back up, which I was expecting. And yeah, we had a big battle there on the last lap. I was surprised to actually come out on top of that, since it was a 2v1 there, with both HM guys being behind me. But yeah, it was a good race all in all.
It certainly was, indeed. Now, our viewers can't see this, Carl, but we can. We're using a voice app called Discord to do our recording this evening, and I can see on your little icon here there's a nice light blue Hyundai i30N hot hatchback. Now, I'm presuming that's your car, and if so, what do you think of it?
It's a great car. It's a great car. I love it. Probably one of the most fun cars I've driven. Driven like the GTI, and also some other hot hatches, but yeah, this is the most fun car I've driven. So it's a great little car. 275 horsepower. I think it's around 300 Newton meters of torque. Manual transmission, and yeah, it does pops and bangs everywhere. So it's a very fun car.
I love the sound of that. Now, your championship rival, Bobby Thompson, his team in the British Touring Car Championship last year, trade price cars were running Audis, but this season I believe they're running the Sportback or the Fastback version of that car. So you can give him some notes if he's going to be in that car next year. Now, Carl, before we let you go, who would you like to shout out to here on Apex Racing TV?
Oh, everyone over at Core Sim Racing for the continued support. And yeah, that's about it.
Fantastic.
Also you for broadcasting, of course.
Oh, well, it's our pleasure. It's absolutely our pleasure. Carl, thank you so much for coming in to chat to us, and looking forward to speaking again very, very soon.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
So that is all we have time for tonight on this broadcast here on Apex Racing TV. We hope you enjoyed round 2 of the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. Carl Jansen joining us there, our championship leader, looking good heading into Sonoma in 7 days' time. We'll catch you next Thursday at 8 p.m. GMT here on Apex Racing TV for all the live coverage with myself, Peter Mackay, and Sam Fitzpatrick. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later on.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong,
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
and many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.